Wednesday, and I'm not having a very good week health-wise. The universe is sending me some waves right now. And this always seems to be the case when I plan some kind of a break in my routine. I end up getting these universal signals like, what do you think you're doing? You're not going to do what you think you're going to do. Anyway, it's Wednesday, and this is my first day back this week. I've actually been out. Monday, I was out because I had a dental emergency. I actually had a dental emergency. I haven't had. Well, I always have those. Apparently, this is my big bugaboo. Is dental problems. Of all the health things that have plagued you, this is mine. It never seems to end for me either. So I had this extreme pain. So I went in to see the dentist, and he took me right that day. 4 hours in the seat of the dentist. But the pain is gone. $1,300 out of my pocket. That's after the insurance, by the way. They talk about our golden insurance. Of course, they don't bother to tell anybody that our dental insurance is crap. But I guess nobody has that. And Senator Bernie Sanders made a statement to Congress about the dental crisis in this country. And he's absolutely correct. There is a serious dental crisis in this country. Anyway, I got that done. I missed Monday. I was planning on working. But after 4 hours in a dental chair and 4 hours of nitrous oxide, I wouldn't have made it anyway. By the time I got out of the seat, it was 5 o'clock. I went into the seat at 1 and I got out at 5. It was like 5:30. Anyway, that's gone. But now I get to have a head cold. And what the guy told me when I was in there, he said, "Oh, you have an infection and it's in your sinus. Do you have any problems?" I go, "No, I didn't notice any problems with my sinus, and I really didn't." But now that he's fixed whatever was wrong, apparently it's now clearly visible in my sinus. Of course, you know, when they drill into that tooth, that all that, you know, what do they call it? It's infection is spread around all over the place, and apparently it's all over me now. So now I feel like I've got a serious head cold, which is very annoying, but not annoying enough for me to want to take another sick day. I wasn't planning on using any more sick days here, but I was surprised. Anyway, I had a couple of extra floaters. I had 2 extra floaters, and one of them I took yesterday, so I wasn't at work yesterday either. And then I'm going to take another one tomorrow, but we'll be here Friday, and then the new sign-up starts, and I won't be here for the new sign-up. I will be gone for at least 2 months, and possibly forever. I haven't made a firm decision yet. I really don't want to go back here. I just don't want to do it anymore. Like with Steve. Obviously, there's a lot of things about this job I like, even with the crappy management. Even with the crappy management. And speaking of crappy management, Philadelphia's SEPTA, which is one of the largest transit districts in the country, compared to TriMet, which is one of the smaller ones, they came to a contract accord with their union that preserves their golden benefits. They have no insurance premiums, they have no deductibles. I'm not sure what they're doing there, but whatever it is, it's not costing the employees anything. and they're like 3 times as big as TriMet, just in terms of numbers of employees. So the TriMet idea that somehow we have the richest in the nation, well, I knew that was a bunch of lies, and a lot of other people did. But the media, being what it is, and determined to take the side of management, because the media, sorry, but I'm doing well today. The media wants to break the union, especially the Oregonian, who are just anti-unionists. I mean, they have a long history of being anti-union. So that's been exposed for the fraud that it is. And I guess since I've been back there, I don't know, was the City Club, I don't know if I talked about that or not. I've kind of lost track of time again. Anyway, we say that we do not have the only golden, there's other transit districts that are just as good as better or better than ours. And that's just been a lying propaganda campaign by Neil and his cronies. And you know, Neil is really a slug, and I mean, he's teamed up with the media, especially the Oregonian, to try to destroy the union. You know, if you read the need some cough drops. If you read that editorial, we're strangling the company, it says. We're strangling the company. You know, the public doesn't buy it, you know, it may be a problem, but if they can do it in SEPTA 4 times as big as TriMet, then what's the problem with this transit district? What's your problem? You know, the idea that, oh, capital projects is so creative and so great, and operations is so horrible. It's such a farce. And drivers and mechanics and customer service people and everybody in general that works here has finally had enough of McFarland and his lies. He makes his career as a liar, distorting truths, building useless projects that nobody wants, you know, to keep the power brokers happy. And this is what we have here in Oregon, you know, the light rail mafia, which is what it is. It's a light rail mafia. They've hijacked the transit system for their agenda. And they're the ones that hold all the power, so nobody can do anything about it. And it's just a damn disgrace, really. I mean, the bus service out here on the west side is so decrepit right now, I can't even begin to describe how bad the service is, how bad, what the condition the buses are in right now. They've ignored it so badly that it's just, I think it's management malfeasance, and managers should be fired over that malfeasance. That's my opinion. Their concentration on the rail has led to the demise of the bus service, especially out here. You know, on the east side, they've got pretty much new equipment, but they've completely ignored the west side. It's going to be a hell of a day for me, I can see it. And as far as I'm concerned, it is malfeasance duty. You know, it's just downright malfeasance, because they didn't uphold their responsibility to maintain what they had. And McFarland really should be fired, but he won't be. He's supported by the governor, who I voted for, and I knew better than to vote for that slob. I'd rather have the Republicans at least they're honest about what they want to do. The Democrats are Republicans in sheep's clothing. They pretend they're something else. And it's just horrible to have politicians like Kitzhaber and Obama, who think nothing of making campaign promises that they have no intention of keeping. They have no intention of actually keeping any of those promises. They just said it to get elected, once they were elected, it's like, okay, so much for that. And that's Kitzhaber. It's like, you don't want Dudley, do you? So you got to vote Kitzhaber. Of course, we all knew Kitzhaber was a good old boy. You don't get a governor back in there that's already been in there. He had a questionable record when he was in there. It's just a disgrace how the two-party system in this country has absolutely failed voters. It really is a complete disgrace. Anyway, so we're going back to work here on a Wednesday, and then I'll have tomorrow off. And then Friday, which should be an interesting day, because we're going to have a special guest on Friday. And something that should have been done a long time ago. And I'm going to take the bull by the horns here myself. So Friday will be a very interesting day. And then I'll be off for a long, long time. Doing other things. I'll still be blogging. I'll still be following the stories. And as you know, when I have more time off, I have more time to actually follow these stories closer and present more of a pain in the ass to our managers. Speaking of our managers, you know that I did send a request in for a list of all personnel receiving a pension check of $4,000 a month or more. You know, the highest that a bus driver can get for a pension would be about $2,500. If you have 30 years and a whole big sick bank, you could probably get $2,500, $2,600. So we set the cutoff date at $4,000 a month. So I requested a list. So of course they took a month to answer me, because that's how they delay it. And then they sent back the message that they want $96. It'll take them 1 hour. That's what they consider. And their cost per hour is $96. Now how's that for insulting? A tax-funded organization wants the taxpayer to pay to have them provide the information, which should be publicly available anyway. All of this stuff should be publicly available. But it's not. It's all a very... TriMet is the most secret transit district in America. And it's obvious why. They have a lot to hide. There's a lot of shit here that needs to be hidden, because if it came out, people wouldn't be so gung-ho about TriMet anymore. They know it. I know it. Plenty of people do know it besides me. But they get away with this because they're in charge. You see, they continue to hold... They hold the keys, and they're not accountable. TriMet is not an accountable organization. They're allowed to operate any way they want, and powers vested in the general manager, who represents the money interest. But their own manager represents business and money and wealth. There is no say for consumers or riders. This transit district is controlled exclusively by businessmen and government cronies. And they don't even want... I mean, Kitzhaber took Lynn Lear back right off the board. I mean, do you need a clearer example of how manipulated this transit district is? To have no respect at all for labor and the riders, to kick off the only person that was vocal enough to say no to the rest of the managers about things. He was unappointed. So now we have no labor representative. And you know, I've got a new respect for John Hunt here too. I think that his decision to avoid the media is actually a wise decision, because it's not going to win us anything. You know, the propaganda war, it's too far gone, but we're going to win in the court of facts and law. You know, TriMet has his billion-dollar propaganda machine, and it's pretty hard to fight that. And if he's walking into some place like the O, They're not going to be fair and impartial in the interview. They're going to have this interview set up in such a way it's going to make him look bad. You know that, I know that. You'll be like walking into KATU and trying to get a fair shake. You're not going to get it. You know, for a long time I was like, well, John really should come out there, but it's become clearer and clearer to me that John is not going to get any kind of a fair deal in the Portland media. Although, whatever that progressive radio station is, that looks like something that maybe he should have tried, you know. Progressive, wow, gas all $3.87 now. It was just $3.24 a month or two ago. It's a good time to go off work. And, you know, I've basically been the voice of the union worker. And my voice is not as quiet, it's not as obscure as people might think. And I don't have the same considerations when I'm making my comments. I don't have, you know, he has to be more careful than me. I can pretty much say anything I want. And I don't have any political fallout because I'm an independent. I don't report to anybody. Some of the people on the Facebook group wanted me to run for office, and it's like, no, I absolutely won't consider that. Especially since we've got good candidates. You know, we've got pretty good candidates. We don't need to, I don't need to be skewing that field. I'm way too controversial of a character to actually run for that kind of position. You need a more diplomatic, somebody who's accepted it. And I've always said, in this particular situation, an insider is needed. And so far, you can't really, I mean, there's a lot of things going on that are bad, but are those John Hunt's fault? I don't know if I can really blame him. So far, in the overall picture, he's done pretty good, really. Because there's still, even though McFarland's imposed this on us, in the end, it could take a while. But in the end, we could win. You know, and that's where I think it's going to head. In the end, we're winning. And even with that massive propaganda campaign, there's a lot of people, even on the Oregonian, which is rabid anti-union, who are not buying this, the union's default mantra. You're not in Idaho, you're not in Indiana, Ohio, and these staunch red states, you know. You're in an educated area here. That'd be like trying to break the MBTA union in Massachusetts. You're not going to do it. Because people in Massachusetts aren't stupid. You know. We all knew then Neil was going to try to break this union. Where's the mechanic? There's Jerry. And here I am. I'm early today. Ever since they fixed that road, ever since they had the highway construction, which was really what's needed here. We don't need more light rail, we need more road. You can actually get up the highway now. And, you know, you can put me squarely down on the side of the conservatives when it comes to this light rail stuff. They're right on, Bob. And in reality, if you really want to look at the truth, they probably should contract out everything here because this place is run like shit. But you'd have to get rid of the management too, though. I mean, to just come after us is kind of a silly little thing. I mean, the management would have to go too. I mean, you can always pay people less, but you're gonna get inferior people. So all the hullabaloo about us, we're actually a pretty damn good system in terms of safety. You know, they've turned the spotlight on us so harshly that every little thing now is a big incident here. And this was the management's creation, because they don't stick up for anything here. They let us fall constantly. Okay, here we are back. It's been 4 days since I've been here, but I'm back.